Hello everyone, welcome to our video 3A. What will our cities be like in 50 years? The objective of this video lesson is to learn everything that has to do with future tenses. The first one, we're going to make short and long-term predictions. Number two, we're going to discuss future action plans. And number three, we're going to describe schedules and future arrangements. Okay, I want you to understand a schedule as a timetable and arrangement as a date or an appointment, pretty much. Remember that as usual, we have 3 recommendations to make. You can pause the video at any time. Number 2, it's a great idea to take notes. And then number 3, make sure you ask your teacher any questions. We're going to start with a very short video clip. And in this video clip, you're going to see an old lady who wants to go to South Africa on vacation. So she's pretty much making plans and arrangements for her trip. So I want you to listen and pay attention to the different uses of will.
So, Mrs. Beatty, we should talk about your safari trip to Botswana.
I'm so excited. My first time in Africa.
You're going to be flying in to Johannesburg, South Africa. Would you like a window or an aisle?
Oh, a window. I want to see everything.
In Johannesburg, you should take a taxi or a limo to your hotel. The next day, you could fly or you could take a train to Francistown in Botswana.
Is it an express train?
Yes.
I'll take the train. I'd like to see the country.
Great. Then after you see Francistown, you can take a small plane or a bus to the Okavango Delta.
How small is the airplane?
It's pretty
Okay,
small.
so this was again a very short video clip, and the idea or the purpose was to identify the different auxiliaries and future forms they used. One of the ones they used, and I'm sure you saw it, is the use of will. Okay, and this is to make short and long-term predictions. We're going to be pretty much talking about 3 different uses. The first one, instant decisions. The second, predictions based in what we think. And the third, promises and offers, okay? For the first one, instant decisions. Look at the example. Okay, I'll see you on Friday. In this case, they're using the contraction of will. It's very common in conversation. And you will always use the same will with all your subject pronouns. So there is no difference with other third-person forms, for example. Number 2, predictions based on what we think. It will rain in the evening. So this is more like a guess, right? It's not really because you have some kind of evidence. And number 3, a promise like in, don't worry, I'll go and buy some food for you. Rather than a promise, this is more like an offer. And you will also be using will for offers as well, okay? The next one, uses of be going to. We have the use of this future form for number 1, future plans and intentions, and number 2, predictions based on what we can see at the moment, okay? In case of an intention, the example says, I'm going to buy a new laptop computer next week, right? So here, make sure you use the complete form. The verb to be needs to be conjugated appropriately according to the subject pronoun you're using. And then going to will always be the same, right? The principal verb here, buy, will be in its base form, right? And then just an expression of time at the end, like next week, next month. So that makes it clear that it's a future plan. For number 2, predictions based on what we can see at the moment. So here there is some evidence, like look at that car. It's going to crash into the lamppost. If you notice here, we are not using auxiliary will because it's not a guess. You're not really hypothesizing. You're actually making a real prediction because you can see it with your eyes, right? The conjugation, it is going to crash, okay? We have the use of future forms also with present simple and present progressive, okay? You may be wondering why. Present simple is typically used for routines, right? Present progressive is typically used for actions at the moment of speaking. Well, in this particular case, we're talking about these 2 forms for future schedules and future arrangements. Like in the examples, the train leaves at 6 a.m. tomorrow. So you know that this is future because of the expression of time, right? And then the conjugation in the present tense leaves, don't forget the final S of the third person rule, right? It makes it clear that this is pretty much a specific time that is kind of like a schedule or timetable for transportation, for example. Number two, she's meeting a new client at 6 o'clock in the evening and she's traveling by bike through the forest. Okay, in this particular case, we are using progressive form or continuous form because this person has already planned everything. You know, the time, the place, the transportation. So when you're pretty sure about what's happening at specific time in the future, you are welcome to use present progressive as well. Okay. Now, let's talk about the uses of shall versus will. I'm pretty sure you have heard about shall before. This is actually used in formal speeches and agreements. It's not so commonly used right now, but you can still see it or listen to it. Will, as we said before, for promises, offers, and predictions, right? But I want you to look at the examples with shall right here. I shall explain my speech in the hall. I shall follow your advice. Typically, you will use shall for first person I and first person we. Okay, that's where you commonly find this auxiliary. Okay, and again, it's a very formal one. Compared to I will love you forever, don't worry, I'll help you, I'll be rich. Right? In this particular case, you're just making promises, offers, or predictions with the future simple will. Okay, let's talk about the uses of adverbs with this auxiliary will. Adverbs are commonly used, are perhaps, definitely, and probably. Okay, I want you to notice how the auxiliary will normally comes and typically, right, it comes auxiliary will in the affirmative form, but then the expression of time probably, definitely will come before in the negative form. So this is actually the part I want to concentrate in. Look at the example. She'll probably come with us tonight. This is an affirmation, so you use the adverb after the auxiliary will. But look at the negative. She probably won't come with us tonight. In this case, make sure you have the adverb before the auxiliary. So this is a little observation I need to make. Okay. Typically, adverbs of time included here in future tenses are if, later, next, soon, the day after tomorrow, tomorrow, tonight. You can see more examples in our later slides. Okay. Now let's practice. We have been talking about predictions, plans, schedules, arrangements, right? So what I want you to do is I want you to think about these 5 sentences here, and I want you to tell me what do you think is the intention or the use of that future tense. For example, the train arrives at 12:30. Do you remember if that is a prediction, a plan, a schedule, or an arrangement? What do you think? We're going to be doing this exercise together, but I want you to go ahead and in advance think about a possible answer. Is it A, B, C, or D? Well, I think you got it right. Hopefully, this is actually C. It's in a schedule. That's why we use present simple, okay? For number 2, we are going to have dinner at a seaside restaurant on Sunday. It looks like a plan. So that's why we use the be going to form, okay? It will snow in Brighton tomorrow evening. It sounds like a prediction. That's why we use will. So let's go with letter A. On Friday at 8 o'clock, I'm meeting my friend. Ooh, that sounds like a real plan. There is a time, I guess there is a place, maybe a reservation in a restaurant. That's an arrangement. Let's use present progressive on that one. And finally, Paul is flying to London on Monday morning. Once again, present progressive, so that comes as a as an arrangement. There we go. Okay, so this was a little practice I wanted to do with you guys before you actually go and complete your homework and your campus. Make sure you complete the questionnaire, video check-in below. Okay, in case you want additional references, here we are. Here you have some links, and I hope you find this lesson quite useful. I'll see you next time. Bye.